Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. Okay. So what are we up to?
Chaf Gimel. Chaf Gimel.
That's okay. Bichol Dave. I'm looking Maruba. The Frap Elu was my Kotsar. I can't Kotsar by my Mara Shalu Achelecha. Doesn't look particularly short, but okay. Motzei Shabbos Kodesh Re'eh Dibara Dover Nifla Lamavin. Haro spoke to Torasenu Metas V'chush. It's still on this issue of Emuna. V'nakim Pashas B'Eschana V'shmat Masisim Ki Chochmo Eschem V'naschem L'nei Amim Asher Shmu Eskol Chukim El B'Amru Ak Am Chacham Levan Hagoy Gadol Hazeh. Okay, so we do things right, then people see how wonderful we are. Muksheh. There's difficult. Being low, it sounds the way he's learning it, that it sounds like the obligation to keep Torah mitzvahs is because that makes us look smart. So it sounds like I understand. Just because you have to keep Torah mitzvahs because it looks good to people. Doesn't matter what looks to other people. Going further, came and Shamar Kihi Chochma Binaschem, Vaide Aide Shmia. It certainly is they're going to hear. Kiamin Loki Blue Torah. So I guess it's a pashut that they're going to hear all these laws. Otherwise, how are they going to find out? I'm not sure if that's a question, but I don't count anybody else. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, in fact, that's the question. In other words, he preceded the reason for his question. He preceded the question with the reason for the question, right? It's obvious that they're going to have to hear it. So, so I'd say they're going to hear it. It's obvious going to hear. No, that's something else. No, it's actually another question. It's a separate question. So, Doctor, the question before is why say they have to hear? And now, also, if we wanted to appreciate Torah, the way they appreciate Torah is through the mishpatim, which they can understand, not through the chukim, which they don't understand. So why are you saying that through the chukim they're going to understand? But lama chazar od mi goy gadol shelo chukim mishpatim tzadikim. Instead of reiki mi goy gadol asher igadol asher amiga shelo elokim krovin a love. At the beginning of the pasuk that God is close to them, and then at the end it says mi goy gadol asher elo chukim mishpatim. Why do you have to? But that's not a question. So later on it says mishpatim tzadikim, and repeats chukim over again. Doesn't have to. Ray mentioned chukim. Okay, some good questions. On the emes Torah darka beitev, so he explains very well. The pasuk requires a person lachkim dato to make his intellect wise. He's bonem Torah to look into Torah with haskeh vadas, with intelligence and with wisdom. Broken, the manner kiyubim b'sichlo gankin. You should understand with his mind as well. Ki Torah metzas l'adam derech slula. The Torah puts before a person a smooth path l'chios chaye onek v'nachas, to live a life of pleasure and of tranquility. Zulasas charasi, besides the eventual reward. So the ways of Torah in and of themselves, just looking at the Torah itself without looking at the reward, in of itself, it's Torah Cheno. It's only before you understand the depths, then Nires Kol Tzabri, so it looks like a yoke, a burden on the Jewish necks. But that's Reish Yisrael Mitzvah. It looks difficult at the beginning. But its end is extremely pleasant. Besides whatever reward there is, the wonderful reward. The Torah itself, the drachim of the Torah in of themselves are a tremendous thing. But yeah, pshara kasuv kach. So if that's the case, you want to say this is pshara pasuk. Ushmartem ainu mishnah. Perish lemudi yeh ba'askala ba'omi ki gam hakiyum. In other words, you should learn with intelligence so that it'll lead to also the actual performance. Hu yibasi sem. So shmartem, learn it properly. So basi sem, you'll be able to do it. Yeah, and this assembly, this asiya, but often kigama being so also they should understand ki chochmo avina that it is knowledge and wisdom and understanding. By chochmo avinu kigama chukim chochmo bina sadosa. So he says that the if you learn with intelligence and you perform that your mitzvahs with intelligence as well, they'll understand from the chukim that also mishpatim. I'm sorry, they understand from the mishpatim how you conduct yourselves in things which are understandable. That the chukim must also be something which we might not necessarily understand, but has reason. Chochma bina sodosim there, but they're founded on chochma bina. Zeu kiddush Hashem l'Torah avodos. That's kiddush Hashem for Torah avodos Hashem by saying that by our performance, shmartem ba'asi sem. Through that, of course, they're going to look first at the mishpatim, and that's what they're going to see and notice. But mimela understand that chukim are also so it must be as a chochma bina. Chukim mishpatim tzadikim. Perush hanishma kozos. Have you ever heard such a thing? Chukim mishtabuim mishpatim. That the chukim are on a par with the mishpatim when Hashem chunas adam to direct a person's or strain a person's character. Kinyan paraduma, just like and they would, I guess if we would say this, or since we do say it, kinyan paraduma. It'd be like paraduma metaheres mei metame al oskim ba. I'm not sure what he means by that. Let's go on to see how he develops it. Once he saw students, he started crying. Not sure it has to do with anything with that either. So he obviously is saying that a chok, one would assume, can never be purely meant to perfect a person. And the classic example of that is paraduma, where it's mitara setmei, but mitame esatori. And he's saying that, and this is what Yochanan ben Zakkai said, Christ started crying before something, even though he did much good during his lifetime, he still says, I know what derech they're going to take me after I die. And because he says that anybody who's mizakil meitiv, so it's very easy for somebody who is mizakil and who's meitiv to damage himself. So specifically talking about marriage over there. That marriage is normally done in great public. The Torah said, go and do it in humility. There are many things which Chazal say in order to try and understand so it seems to be strange things that a human being should be able to understand it. With God's help, we can get very much to intelligence. Person merits it also his deed should be with intelligence and wisdom. Like it says that Rabbi Nasi sent Shishach mezuzah melech paras. He sent a mezuzah to King of Persia Para Evan Tov Shasson, for the nice precious stone which he gave them. I'm not sure. Obviously, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was trying to prove that this is something which is more precious to us than anything else. They would send me money for something very, very significant. So that's what we're going. That's what I'm going to give you. So it says here, he couldn't have sent that stone and gotten away with it unless there was some chochma involved. It says, where does it say tamo? Well, in general, wherever it says wherever it says ta'amu from davening, tamuru kitov Hashem. So tamu, what is tamu? What are you supposed to taste? Perush, b'tam shel chachma. If you taste wisdom, az uru kitov Hashem, then you'll see that God is good. So that's what goes back to what he said before. So he's saying that they I'm not sure. I guess he's saying that since they'll see how precious cooking are to us, I'm not sure how this gets into seichel here. Let's hear the bottom of the Sforno. May you come in Kim Chomeschem be a Kiddush Hashem. Komoshkas Sforno is al davar niflo Hashem posuk zayin. But Tam Shoy Lakpid Shetu Nechshavim Chacham in the bone. Why is it important that you should be considered smart and wise? Chulei Kim Tiu Nechshavim Lemischolim, because you'll be considered like fools. Yechilu because Yechil Hashem I ain't Sham. Utihila Baruch Hashem Ki Matzasi Berivash Zal Al Tamu Uru Kanal. Says in Tamu Uru like we said, because Hashem Ki Bli Tam Ein Zeki Mitzvah Sanoshim Lumoda. Without a reason, it's just by rote and habit. Kabbalah Tam Yachta. We need to have the Masorah and the reasoning together. Hema Kichama B'tzura Lamuna. They are like a fortified wall for a Buddha. Yisam to call Dvarein Tamid Ubifat Mikra Malay, and proves the truth of everything we said, especially from an explicit pasuk. Okay, I don't know how he got much greater emunah from this, but going back to the beginning, to the questions, so where he says Im lo chochmo bina ve'namim ein lishmor, so I don't see where you answer the question.
Well, he keeps saying that if the non-Jews will see that it's good, then it'll be a Kiddush Hashem. He made that point twice, I think.
Okay, let's see the next paragraph. That's enough for us. But the nations need more for the senses. But we already mentioned several times to show explicitly.
Imta.
Imta, thank you. Imta has proven the truth of tangible munah need not pale from the time was given until today. And tells you people take tangible things which concretize or demonstrate the truth of their Emunah, the Kosh La'arich. So um, I think he's going back to I think he's saying like this. The reason why we have practical mitzvahs is in order that it should be Leinei Goyim. In other words, we could have just, intellectual mitzvahs, but that won't work. Intellectual mitzvahs would work for us. Tam Ruki Ruki Toiv Hashem. Right? But to demonstrate to the world that Hichoch Maschem Bin Aschem, there have to be tangible acts. Because that's what we're going to see. So everybody's saying that here it says they're because it focuses on why they're tangible mitzvahs, right? And the reason why it's saying Asher Yishma'un is not they're going to understand the reason. It's not Mishpatim. It's Tamuru. Tamuru works by Mishpatim. And works by Amisor for Chukim as well. But the nations of the world, they don't have that. So they're impressed by what they hear, not by what they taste and see. Because they don't have the tools to have that taste. And the tools to therefore see. So everybody says, again, the second question was, well, that already answered, right? Because you said that no, it's not. That would be okay for Torah, but not for tangible mitzvahs. And furthermore, but it has to be heard, right? Because they're not going to tamru, so they have to be shomea. And the reason why it's chukim and not mishpatim is that they have to see how chukim also influence a person positively and make a person a better person. In other words, the mishpatim, if they're going to hear the mishpatim, it doesn't prove anything to them. It's the chukim which are going to prove things to them. And that it goes back and says, because the main thing we're trying to do, I think, is prove the emunah, is prove our chochma, and therefore we're trying to say you go asher yishmu chukim, and mi goyodo shelo chukim mishpatim tzadikim. Once they see that the chukim we do, because they make us tzadikim, we'll also see the mishpatim we do make us tzadikim, but not the same way. Because not just that they're good deeds, they're character building. Yeah. I don't know if I'm right about any of that, but that's the way I understand most I can get out of it. Any other ideas?
No, I know.
Okay.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, so I think we'll stick with this. Of course, it's superfluous. Obviously, it's in front of them. What else is going to give it? Not lifnechem. Then the diber kasuv, var kasuv, tedu b'nei banai, ki haTorah shenasati, diber kasuv, the pasuk is speaking. Tedu banai, know my children, ki haTorah shenasati, the Torah I gave you, lo tabasi, it's not for my good, rak tabaschem, it's for your good. V'achrei yischakmus yishmanu ban, after you become wise and understand it. They're already has become verified to you my emunah by Tzias Mitzrayim Matan Torah. But it's also going to become tangibly clear to you. B'chol dor v'dor, l'lamdeh b'chol b'seh. Those are the Torah, all details. Gam yachad Chochmo Mussar. Dafka gam yachad, specifically together. And Yavinu techavu miyad. Understand immediately? Ki hi bracha is gabel adam. It's a lovely bracha for a person lo yarchen azavu paz, which not be able to be measured in gold and silver. Uh, Vizel, or not gold and silver, gold and refined gold. Zel lifnechem yenirgash miyab olam hazeh. Nechem means down here in the world. In other words, in the tangible world, right? I'm giving you a intent and doing the mitzvahs. I'm giving you a bracha. Doing the mitzvahs themselves are bracha. They have a positive impact upon us, right? And that's what he's saying about Mussar and Torah going together. The halacha of the thing and the of whatever it's talking about, and the Mussar of the thing go together. And it's by being lifnei tangible in this world that this is accomplished. Rashi. The CMS Abracha Shetishmu, Perish Terem Kashetishma, but the Vinay Tev, immediately when you hear and you understand very well, Techum Yatagishki Brachas Hashem. You're immediately going to feel it's the bracha of Hashem. Ain't Chatzorach Le'emunah Levad. And it's not just enough to have emunah. Raktakish B'chush Gam Kain, but feel it in tangibly, internally, of course, but tangibly. It's not enough just to have emunah, but you also have to feel it within yourself as well. Yeah, so the bracha comes from listening. And listening means not just hearing, but understanding very well. And then a person is zoicha to higher madregas in Chochmo and Mussar. The Rachman says, "Laros b'chush k'mosh b'yaramat b'ma'amar yikra oyev shon ken chova adam mifureshes from the Torah." It's explicit a requirement from the Torah. Lafanos gato machshavto to empty his wisdom and his intellect, lilmod lasos, and to learn and to do kol al derech chochma, everything with chochma, primarily according to his doing. We can't do without clear-cut das. Really lucid das. So das okay, perish with das muskelis. Know him with intelligence. And then you can come also to a tangible feeling. Because the Torah of God is living in this world, 3D. Bracha ba, ni'imus u'masikus litachlis ba. Pleasantness and sweetness without end. Just like people love this world. There's something missing there. I don't know the word. I made the word a second word on my shouldn't be there. So of them, Bergation with either working on the fourth, the looted premises. Because but I have to also. But surely if they feel it, they'll serve that as well. You can only to learn to do with intelligence and wisdom. We have to turn our heads away from getting confused. Which is the deep sleep of stupidity. We see from several essays. The primary judgment of a person is on his beginning. It was not meticulous in being careful not to come close to Averis. Much more mamar schorach mamar adam today. Uminoch nemar v'ita kem tzarich amaru hayadoa. I don't know what it is. This is mine. The grapevine is mine. He's Torah. Your content should not come into my boundary. He warned the tzaddik. Nevertheless, he was stumbled at the end. What does it mean? Noach was a tranquil person. That's why he found grace. והדברים מועילים למי שאמרנו, וכן כיוון שהצדיק הזה הכין עצמו כל כך לדעת תלולה, since the tzaddik prepared himself to have such clear-cut, lucid intellect, he should have stayed away from something which sometimes causes confusion. Come on, yain. I should have put that planting last. Look at it not first. That's they said this is mine. Whoa. I get, yeah, right. He told Noach, you're supposed to run away, and you're not running away, right? And you don't know it's mine, not yours. Even though the world needs wine, makes people happy. But to learn to run away from danger, I should have planted the grapevine last. That he became chulin, he became deconsecrated. This is terrifying. That for Noach, who was a great tzaddik, not to flee from the wine, even though he had to plant it. But then he had to plant it. But he shouldn't plant it at last. Because he knew it was dangerous. And the fact that he didn't do that, that's Vayochel Noach. You gimel vavin nemro lo b'shvil zeh. Vine. It says vai. I forget how many, what we're referring to. B'shuv Shabbat tzaddik is menucha so. Later on, he went back to his menucha again. If we not come just to say this last point, that a person has to be aware of something which is, that's to be have a clear, lucid vision, and it push off, delay if you can't completely cancel something which is dangerous. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes, that is a good idea.
Work for tranquility of soul. I agree the Alter of Kelm was worth this whole piece for this last paragraph. Okay, that is true. Okay.
I once heard a chazal that said, Noach matzachein, Elokim lo matzachein. I don't remember where that was from. I heard someone say it once. It was quoted.
That's cool.
Noach matzachein, Elokim lo matzachein.
All right. I think we can learn next week.
Kosher v'sameach.
Want to learn next
What's
week?
that?
You want to learn next week?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Wait till Shem Tuesday. Kosher v'sameach. Take care.
Yes, a good Pesach.